Chronicles of Hope is essential reading for anyone seeking true inspiration and is timelier now more than ever. Through inspiration and action, this book provides the thirsty reader with a greater understanding of how we, as individuals, can positively affect change for ourselves and our collective humanity. I am Lois Herman, the author of Chronicles of Hope and the host of the Inspiring Hope radio show on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. You can find me at loisherman.com.
The views and opinions of the following show do not reflect those of WSMN, its owners, and/or associates.
Welcome to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman, a leading expert in professional coaching, clinical hypnosis, and energy clearing. Lois is an award-winning author of Chronicles of Hope. She has decades of experience in advanced hypnosis techniques, has conducted highly effective success coaching programs that have helped clients discover ways to achieve success, empower themselves, their families, as well as holistic practitioners to expand their practices. Get ready to be empowered with your host, Lois Herman.
Hello, and welcome to Inspiring Hope. I am your host, Lois Herman, and I'm here to inspire you with positive messages and celebrate people who are making a difference in our world. When we focus our thoughts and energies on truth, honesty, and integrity, we create powerful shifts that cause us to be more positive and peaceful. As we lift our energy, we empower everyone around us. If we each do what we can to make small shifts in awareness, we create ripples of hope. Join us as catalysts for positive change for our families, our communities, and our world at large. I hope you're inspired by today's show. And I want to ask you why, with all the division, confusion, and distraction in our world, where can we find truth, peace of mind, and be able to stand in our own power? We could start by developing an internal spiritual practice through prayer, communion with nature, and connection to others. As we connect with others of like mind, we feel supported, encouraged, and empowered to think for ourselves. When we embrace our individuality and celebrate our unique beliefs, we are able to come together in the wake of division to support the highest and best for each other, our country, and the world. How many of you realize that we're at war? We're currently in a war of good versus evil, a war for the hearts and minds of the people of our country, an insidious cyber war that is affecting many who are doing good for our country and others who are completely unaware. Most people just go about their day without paying any attention to the devious mind games that are being orchestrated by manipulating players in our government, our legal system, our media, and more. It is critically important for people to wake up and pay attention to what is really going on around us. Are you aware enough to see how our rights are being taken away by those with self-serving needs? Are you asking questions about the truth surrounding the many inconsistencies and irregularities in our recent elections? Are you aware of courageous people who are putting their lives on the line to show us the truth behind programmed distractions? Please take a moment to check out a powerful video by Mike Lindell, a regular citizen who has risked everything to show the public extensive research that proves that our nation has been under attack by external sources. You can find a link at michaeljlindell.com. Lindell is spelled with 2 L's. Or at the Power of Connection blog on my website, loisherman with 2 N's.com. Take your head out of the mainstream quicksand, please, to at least listen to this critically important information. Start to look beyond and really see what is happening to cause such division among each other. We must begin by informing ourselves before we can come together as a unified country again. What can we do to support one another in this time of confusion? In a few minutes, we will speak with Maureen Ryan Blake, the founder of the Power of the Tribe. And she'll share her thoughts on the importance of surrounding yourself with a supporting tribe of people in this critical time of extreme division. Please help share these messages with the world. You can watch the videos on our websites, loisherman.com and chroniclesofhope.net. Right now, you are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Herman at WSMN 1590 or 95.3 FM. And I do invite you to start asking questions and investigate for yourselves. Put on your Columbo raincoat and dig into the clues that are all around you. Have you asked yourself why esteemed medical professionals who have offered healing remedies for this virus have been censored or even fired for speaking out? Have the masses been forced into fear, isolation, and division to satisfy someone's political agenda? Do you wonder why the media has enforced one narrative, while anyone who questions or expresses another opinion has been blocked, censored, or ridiculed? Is this really America, land of the free, and home of freedom of speech? When will people start to pay attention to the bizarre inconsistencies around us and wake out of their hypnotic trance? How can we support those who are courageous enough to speak out against invasive tyranny, to save Main Street America from being controlled by those who seek to destroy our wonderful world by their lust for power? Our current situation has caused us to be particularly isolated and alone, which amplifies division and promotes depression and illness. One of the main teachings of the Chronicles of Hope is how anger and hate that many humans express can be caused by feelings of isolation. The sense of being different fosters notions of jealousy that lead to hatred and fear. Hate is a symptom of isolation, which creates further division. Right now, we are living in an accelerated fear-based culture where our children learn to be wary of everyone and everything. During this time of social distancing, our dependence on technology has intensified our isolation. Yes, we can reach out to one another online, so we feel informed, connected, and less isolated. However, technology has a double edge to the sword. While we have the capacity for expanded knowledge and reach, we're also exposed to invasive mind control from questionable sources, which leads to more confusion, doubt, and fear. The ability to connect with others on social media opens us to being controlled by those with programmed narratives that have become increasingly destructive. We are at the mercy of whoever shares information from their potentially biased point of view. A major challenge of technology is that it can be readily used to create instantaneous demonstration of pain across the globe, which can be modified or altered to suit the needs of the presenter. Although negativity, anger, and rage do exist, they can be amplified, misrepresented, sensationalized, or blocked. While absorbing the increased fear, hysteria, and panic, observers succumb to desperation and more division, which leads in turn to increased isolation. It's a vicious cycle. There are many opportunities for people to mislead and abuse others if we let them. We must feel strong enough to turn the other cheek and walk away from toxic information media sources, and controlling people. Walk away from people in the social media arena who are abusive, divisive, and caustic. Give yourself permission to think for yourself, feel what is right in your heart, and surround yourself with others who respect you and allow you to use your voice. Think about shifting from controlling media channels to other social solutions that are open to freedom of expression. We must pay attention to our own inner thinking at this pivotal point. Trust ourselves, use discernment, and reach out to others who support us on this journey. In addition, the absence of physical contact is problematic for humanity. With electronic devices being the main instrument of touch, have humans lost physical and emotional touch with each other? Has being masked created increased sadness by the removal of smiles, which are a great source of joy? When we allow ourselves to share openly with others, we realize how interconnected we truly are. We touch each other's hearts. I am ever grateful for the amazing tribe of light workers and light warriors who have surrounded me at this pivotal time in history. Each life affects another. We must feel connected with each other as well as our divine guides. Jesus affirmed that he is ever here for us in spirit to call on and to advise us whenever we ask. We must learn to call on him and his kin on a regular basis. These inspiring guides help lift our energy to rise above the illusion of challenge and trust that the power of good is infinite. They help us to respond with loving hearts rather than react from a lower place of anger or disagreement. When we remember we are all one human species and come from a place of compassion, we realize no one is better than the other. We are unique individuals with varietal differences, just as each flower is different, yet all flowers are flowers with an array of sizes, shapes, colors, fragrances, and vibrations. When we learn to celebrate the wonder of our differences, we embrace our similarities as true brothers and sisters of one tribe of humanity. Together, we will win the war on our precious world. We must come together. We must celebrate one another. And how can we get people to come together and truly listen to one another without judgment and preconceived opinions? How do we help people to pay attention to truth so they feel connected, involved, and informed in this chaotic world? You are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Ehrman at WSMN 1590 and 95.3 FM. And you can find me at loisherman.com. Be sure to join our community at chroniclesofhope.net community. And today, I'm delighted to be joined by Maureen Ryan Blake, an amazing woman who celebrates many others with her power of the tribe. She is an inspiration. She tends to celebrate other people. So as she is here with us, I'd like to celebrate Maureen today. Maureen, are you there?
Hello, Lois. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Well, and you've been here for a little while. You got on a little early for us.
Still working on the time changes, but
Yes.
that's okay.
Yeah, and you are calling in from where?
We're calling in from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Arkansas. And you moved recently from California to Arkansas, so you're in all kinds of time changes here.
Still adjusting.
So please, I'd love for you to tell us your story. Tell us about yourself. How did you come to create the power of the tribe?
Well, it's funny because we were just talking about moving, and so my family moved quite a bit, and then there was a point in time when I realized I lost my tribe. And when you lose your tribe, supportive people around you, you lose yourself. And I was very blessed and grateful to be able to start getting surrounded again by amazing women, and started to bloom as we supported each other and our own individual gifts. And I realized that I get to do this for other women and now other entrepreneurs and blooming best-selling authors. And when we come together, we're better.
And you are involved as a best-selling author of Bloom and Shine, right?
No, which is also a group project from RHG publication, and it's a daily inspiration with multiple authors as we were able to give our guiding words and things that uplift us and motivate us, so we get to share with others. So that was in itself a neat project too, because again, it was more than just one author and all of our guiding words. It was a beautiful project.
And that project, is that what inspired you to create The Power of the Tribe, or had you already started that group before?
Well, The Power of the Tribe has been in existence for a couple of years now, and as I connected others, that's where my realization for 2020 and 21 coming out of COVID is the magic, the power happens in the collective, in the connection piece, in the being. And so that was just an introduction I had to amazing woman, Rebecca Hawk-Ryder, who's a publisher. And it was simply someone saying, I think you should know this person, with no results, no the intention of just allowing whatever that will be. And that's just where the tribe has moved to, granted with opportunities to continue to bring more in, as well as to stand in our purpose and move forward.
And so you tend to celebrate in the tribe is a lot of authors and people, especially first-time authors, many people who write books and then go, what do I do? What do I do with this information? Because people take a lot of time to write, and yet, so they've poured passion into their writing, but then don't know how to get it out there. So that's one of your gifts, right?
And it's funny, when we're standing in our mission or power, our gifts come. And I just started to interview best-selling authors. I was given the privilege, because oftentimes an author's best-selling status comes, and it's a whirlwind, it's excitement, and then they go, what do I do now? Mm-hmm. And they get to stand from behind their book, because they are their brand, they are their book. And I wait, I may not be ready for this. I wrote the book, and that's where I'd like to stay. But it doesn't work that way. And I've just realized my superpower is leaning in and listening to others and bringing out their amazing story. And it's so much fun.
And your story didn't start by interviewing authors. You actually have an interesting other background, correct?
Absolutely. No, I was not in publishing and PR work before. I came from Wall Street and finance, and I didn't like it. It just didn't fit with me, and I didn't know why. And but I had the courage to change and to keep stepping into new experiences and in education, and started to listen to that voice that says, you get to do this. You get to do something else. You're meant to do something else. And that's the one thing I would say to anyone out there, that if you're listen to your voice, listen to that, what I want to do, what is my legacy? And when you're standing that, everything becomes clear, because it's not about you. It's about where you're placed on this earth to do something amazing, your purpose.
Mm-hmm. And when you start doing your purpose, it feels uncomfortable at first, because we've been programmed to believe a certain thing, that we're supposed to do something based on earlier conditioning. And then when we start stepping into our purpose, it feels there's a duality. There's a sense of this feels right, and yet we're at conflict because that may not be what we were trained to do, right?
Oh, absolutely. For years, I've been a serial entrepreneur, and I just look at that as almost a failing. That I'm supposed to be doing something more conventional, something more immediate gains, financial gains, whatever else that looks like. But you can't change who and what you're meant to be and do. You can't change your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest thing you can do is, as you mentioned earlier, is surround yourself with others. Seek others. Seek a mentor that is living where you envision or aligns with your vision, and keep stepping into that. And it comes. It does come. It takes time, and it just takes to hold space for yourself. And that's a gift that a lot of people do not have for themselves or others. And space, and just allow and trust.
And that's why the power of the tribe is so critical, because I know for myself, we're all human. I go in these peaks and valleys, and sometimes I go into the slump. What am I doing? Am I doing what I'm supposed to do? And then I'll reach out to one of my tribe. And I did this even yesterday, and this one amazing gifted friend was just giving me all kinds of positive encouragement. And it's nice to be surrounded by people that you can just pick up the phone, or you can reach out, and there's someone there that's got your back, that's going to be supporting you, because we all need that little extra boost along the way. And that's where the power of the tribe comes in.
Absolutely. And so I was just having a conversation last night. One of my tribe members, she called me, and she's like, my book is not going the direction I want it to go. I'm thinking of changing publisher, and I'm in a fork in the road, and I'm listening. And this book she wrote that with someone else. It was a collaborative effort. And it would have been leading into something of coaching others and moving forward with others. But she said, I just want to write. And what that meant, that was what her download was, her purpose. I said, you're not meant to this, maybe this book is not meant to come out. This will take you away from writing, and you get to listen to that. And so then it just suddenly, something that was holding her back was actually pushing her forward. It wasn't meant to be. This book is not meant to come out right now. She's meant to write. And so it's funny, struggles are oftentimes the signs of what's actually supposed to happen.
And that's
part of the process.
And that's one of the gifts that you bring, is the ability to truly listen. You're present. You are right there when I know you've been there for me too, as you've interviewed me on your show. And then there's actually a show coming up on Thursday that you're hosting. And one of the things that you're really good at is listening and being so present and hearing beyond the emotion that's being presented. Just like with this woman, you were able to hear that her real calling is to write, and therein lies her confusion, the confliction that, okay, it's supposed to go a certain way, and yet there's a part of her that knows that she's supposed to write. So good for you for being able to be there as her mentor, as a member of her tribe, to help be her mirror, to see things that she may not be able to see because of her emotional attachment to, I have to do it this way.
And we all get to do that. We all get to, as you said yesterday, you reached out to someone. We all need support. We're meant to come together.
I know
Good.
One of the things what is the quote that you like to say? I usually save quotes for the end, but tell me, because it's so appropriate. You have a favorite quote that you like to share?
When a woman loses her tribe, she loses a shine. But when we come together, we shine brighter.
That is so true. And, if the tribe you're surrounding yourself with is not working, you'll feel it. And then what you do is, one by one, connect with other people where you do feel like you can shine. And when you can shine with another person, guess what? Then that person brings somebody else in, and then there's this spontaneous group that gathers, and we do shine brighter. It is. That's a beautiful quote. I love it. Love it.
Thank you. And it is true, because sometimes there are people that are not meant to be in your journey, and yet the other is that those that come in, we all have our unique gifts, and we also have our imperfections, which makes it fun. And within that recognition of that, you get to be you, and that's where sometimes leaving others behind when you're not being yourself is another truth. Authenticity is everything.
And they often say that people are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I know, like you and I both have moved a lot. And so in the process of moving, I've made friends with people and then left them behind. There are very few people that I have maintained a relationship with over time. And I used to feel sad about that. And now I look back and say, oh, what is the nugget? What did I learn? What was my experience with that person? I can hold on to that experience and allow them to, we've each touched each other in some way. And it's not about having to cling to that person if their energy or the lesson, the learning is done, then we can celebrate each other by moving on and then embracing another person where we're learning something different from this next person who comes in.
Absolutely. Again, it's the journey. It's not the destination, and you are where you're supposed to be.
And right now, we are in a lot of chaos and turmoil in our world. And we're in this, as I was saying in my narrative, we're in a sense of isolation. So this is a critical time to reach out and to have a tribe of people that you can feel safe in calling, texting, sharing different email threads with, to continually support one another. Use the technology to your advantage, but be discerning of what you want to feed yourself, because anything that you can feed yourself good food, but if you're feeding yourself garbage from the internet, it also affects your overall health. And the same thing, by staying around toxic people, it affects your overall health. So this is where the power of the tribe. You select the tribe, right?
Absolutely. And the one piece I would say is that shifting from doing to being is a constant mind shift and state. And it takes effort, but it gets easier and things open. The things that you just do not anticipate. But that's where the magic and the movement comes from. And I think we're in a place of percolation. I think things are happening in that chaos. And I'm on the side of that things are going to come out bright, and that the shine and the light is coming. And I'm going to stick with that. I'm on that side.
Good for you. I'm on that same side. And we have to stick together and shine that light and pray and lift our spirits, lift our energy. There are so many people who are very, they're stuck in the negative narrative, and that will only drag everything down. This is part of surround yourself with uplifting, shining people, and then we shine together. And so we have to hold on to that. I love that, is to hold on to the shine, hold on to the energy of good, because good will win. And yet we do need to wake up and not be completely blind as to what is going on around us.
And the other is that, when you're saying it's as you, that the doors open for you, meaning that the people we're speaking to, you get to put your arms out and help others rise. And that's where the catalyst will come for others who are. There's people that are in pain. There's people that are lonely. There are people that are lost. And as you get to see clearly, you get to also then take the hands and support others to rise.
That's beautifully said, Maureen. And you're right. When people are so stuck in themselves, one of the best things they can do is reach out and help another person, because helping another person helps to lift you up as well.
Yep.
And yet you can't help someone who is not ready to be helped. They have to want to be helped, and there's a difference between forcing help on someone and being there when they reach out. Would you agree?
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm thinking about that. Absolutely, there is time, but the leaving the door open and continually then just allowing to have that as an option is then the way to go, because they may not see it as an option until they are ready.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, yeah.
And you had spoken with me about thinking about your purpose and your legacy. I liked what you said. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's things that make life clear and easy. It's the journey that can be long, but that's what life is, the journey. And that when you finally stand in your purpose, what you want, what do you want? What is the legacy that you're leaving when it's time to leave? And then you look at an outward of serving others. Those things clear the slate of confusion or just ambiguousness and just not being defined. And then once you do that, but you can't go back either, because then nothing but standing your purpose will do. But we're all here for a purpose. We're all here for our own unique purpose. That and this, you had mentioned that. You had mentioned that in all of us, there's the collective. And in that collective, when we all have one starfish that we throw back, then it may only have been one starfish. What happens if 100 people do that or 1 million people do that? It's more than just one starfish.
That's
you
right.
mentioned that. Can you elaborate on that?
It's fun because you're so used to interviewing people, and I loved that you constantly want to turn it around and interview me. I enjoy interviewing people and celebrating other people, and I've gotten more comfortable with answering questions, because it's, my meanderings and my thoughts that I put together might help someone. Even if it helps one person, then I've fulfilled part of what my mission is. My legacy is to be of service. And because of the path that I've had to walk, I've learned a lot. And I can't not be who I am now. There were many years where I had to put on a mask and be someone else and behave and, speak when spoken to. And I can't be that person anymore, because I've grown beyond that. And it gets very awkward when I want to use the word behave and not be me. And that's what's so wonderful about the tribe, is about celebrating being yourself. And when people celebrate who you are, then you shine, and then you help others to shine. Did that answer your question?
It was beautifully stated. I love it.
So tell us a little bit more about any special events that you have coming up. I know you've got this event on Thursday. Will you please share what it is that you've got planned for Thursday?
And it's going to be. And I believe someone really amazing and filled with light is coming on with us as well. It's a one-day summit, and it's all about standing in your being, and within your being, how to activate and build a power network for greater success. and attracting those people. And I have 8 best-selling authors coming on and sharing how the power of their network and their connection with others has truly, skyrocketed their success in life and in business. And we get to share that with others. Because when you can activate your being and shift and be in that, doors open, the magic happens. And that's the gift and then the secret I've learned during COVID and all these interviews. And then we get to share that on Thursday. So it's going to be February 11th. It's from 10 to 3 Central Time. It's going to be all day. Pop in. And it's going to be at thepowerofthetribe.com/summit. It's going to be fun.
It'll be fun. I know I get to be, I'm going to open the show with you, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yay. I'm excited about that. And I'm excited to meet these other authors. So you've met a lot of people, a lot of these different authors. Can you tell us some of your favorite stories of the authors that you have met and interviewed?
Oh, wow. And that's, again, I'm so grateful that I just get to listen to other stories and I get to have them open up as they shine within telling their story. I love what I do. So, oh, goodness, let me, everyone always has their amazing story, but, Dr. Castori Henry. She is, at age 35, CFO, top 500, Fortune 500 company, was right hand to Warren Buffett. And I wanted to get to know her because of what she had done. And then I read her book and met her. And then I consider her friend and was even more in honor of her. Her story is, she was as a child, the Civil War, 1983 Civil War in Sri Lanka, and grew up within that, and then went on to India because she said she was not going to be matchmaked and live in that because she wanted to stand in her power and choice. And then, of course, where her career is then moved her forward. Her whole concept, her book wasn't about finance. It was not about business strategy, which she has. It was about love, the connection of love, and that when there's love and compassion and community, there's no limit to what you can do. She's extraordinary. Love her dearly. Then we also have Amy Riley, whose book is Courage of a Leader, and how her whole concept is that leaders don't come by that standard that you would define in the dictionary. It comes from standing your authenticity. It's the courage to speak when not always necessarily the right time. And she's fabulous. You're on with me, which I'm excited.
It was interesting. You really dove into the Chronicles of Hope. I know I've been on other shows where I think people have kind of skimmed the book, but you really read the Chronicles. Can you elaborate on your thoughts of what you read, the messages that came through?
I'd be honored. So the book, right from the beginning, it's a page turner, right? So it's great writing, and the messaging is that. So if I grew up Catholic in a very, very boxed-in definition of what religion's supposed to look like, and yet I grew up in New York, so we had people that had so many. It was diverse, which is a beautiful thing. So there was always other definitions of what God and religion or maybe not looked like, right? And then Chronicles of Hope, it took religion out of that tight box and allowed it to be a book for anyone looking for spirituality. and also a calmness to the afterlife, and as well as our really true. This was the piece that came forward for me, was the collectiveness and how we're so, everything we do, we're connected, and that was very powerful for me.
Thank you. Beautifully said. And even the monologue that I gave at the early part of the show, those were all passages in part from the book. So they speak to hate and dissension and division and isolation, and that we because when we hate collectively, it exacerbates the hate. So we have to rise above it. We have to lift our consciousness and come to a place of compassion and respect for one another, and through honesty and integrity. And we've got to rise above the hate in order to shift the consciousness collectively. So yeah, you were amazing at how you were able to pick up on so much from the book, from your own perspective, and that's what I love about these messages. I am simply the catalyst to present the messages, and yet they touch people in a variety of ways. Different people take different meanings from the book, and that is a real treasure. That's one of the things that I enjoy about hearing how people relate to the messages. So thank you.
Thank you for writing it, and you're quite welcome.
So if you were to write a book, what would you write it about?
Yeah, so I'm sitting here, and there's a very dominant thought that I have at this moment. And I don't know if it would be a book, but the one piece, I always said, standing in your purpose and listening to coming out of your head, going into your heart. But the one piece that shifts the hate to an outward serving and leading from generosity is the word forgiveness.
Mm.
And the really piece about forgiveness is that the forgiveness of others, but the forgiveness of self.
Yes.
And that opens, things open then to allow for that shift to happen, and from that, as you were saying, hate to allowing that to be something else.
And you're right.
Don't know about the book yet.
Well, it will come, because you with all of the people that you are touching and interviewing and connecting with, you're able to bring out all of these different parts and celebrating each different person's journey. And forgiveness is very, very powerful. I take that word and I break it down with my clients. Forgive it away. Forgiveness is not necessarily, it's not, people will say, I have a hard time forgiving that person. Well, what you're doing is you're still carrying that anger, frustration, whatever in your backpack. When you forgive it away, you no longer carry it. You release it. That doesn't absolve the person from their actions or their part in it. That is on them. They need to be responsible. But when you forgive, you no longer carry that in your heart. So it frees your heart to be open to bring in another energy, a higher level energy. And yet, when you look on the scale of consciousness, forgiveness is a very high level energy. It takes a lot of high vibrational energy to allow forgiveness to come through. And you absolutely nailed it. A lot of people will work really hard on forgiving others, but they forget about the forgiveness of self. And that is so key, so key.
And it becomes light. And it is a gift. It's a gift that you get to give yourself as well within that forgiveness.
Absolutely, yeah. And the act of forgiving releases old stuff and allows you to experience new. And one of the ways of forgiving someone is to walk a mile in their shoes. many of my clients will have an issue with, say, I just had a client the other day who was still holding on to an anger. As much work as she had done, she was still holding on to an anger from her mother in the store. She got lost in the store, and she blamed her mother for not being more mindful of her in the store. And when she was able to look into her mother's eyes and see how could a mother just completely ignore the child in the store? This mother, her mother, didn't have a mother. Her mother died very young.
Yeah.
So she didn't know what it was like to truly be a mother. And when she could see that, wow, this woman didn't really understand, only then was she able to forgive her mother, because she could see what her mother was going through her eyes. She just expected, well, you're a person, you'll find me, no big deal. She didn't realize that that vulnerable child needed the mother to protect, because she never had a mother that protected. So it's very interesting when you walk a mile, when you see through the other person's eyes, it gives a powerful, different perspective that allows you to see through new eyes and let go of your perception. But you have to be willing to do that, right?
And it takes time.
Yes.
And so the daughter got to see her mother, who in turn was another scared little girl that was lost.
Absolutely. And then she could have compassion for her mother. And through compassion, through her mother as that little girl, then she could let go of this that she had been holding on. And it freed her to be to a higher level vibration. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I love that.
And it's, that's a very simple thing. There are many different things that we hold on to that we are angry about, with things that have happened in our past. But our past is an illusion. It's not real. It's only real if we make it real, if we live in that moment. What we have to do is be in the moment now. And that's what I see you do when you're listening to an author, when you're interviewing, when you're reading. You are in that moment, and you really embrace that. And that's what we need to develop in ourselves, is to be right here, right now, with you, with me, with whoever's listening, and apply the messages, the inspiring messages that you bring to the listeners, and it's going to touch someone's heart, and that's what this is all about.
Thank you.
You are doing an amazing job at helping authors. I'm an author of now 3 books, and yet I, like your other friend, your other author, I'm just guided to write, and then I don't really know how to get them out there, how to get the message out there. I do a lot with marketing, but when I encounter someone like you who speaks about it, and then I have the other people in my tribe that have read the book or are excited about it, they're the ones that are out there going, oh my gosh, have you read this book? It's very hard for me to go out there and say, hey, have you read my book? It just feels awkward, right?
Yes.
So you are doing a valuable service to the new authors that are just pouring their hearts out there, and yet don't know, they're too shy, or it feels too awkward to go out there and say, just start pushing their books on people. So thank you for the service you give.
And again, I'm just in gratitude of getting to do this. I love what I do, and it's a privilege, because it's a trust and privilege, and it's so amazing to see someone open up with their gift in their hands, and then to say this is a safe space, and you get to now become more and bring your message forward. Yeah, I'm the one I'm grateful for what I get to do.
And that's what we have to do. They say when you are doing what you love to do, you never work a day in your life. It becomes an obsession, a compulsion. You just do it because you can't not do it, right?
Absolutely. And yet you also allow for balance. You allow for You allow for fur babies. You allow for time to read, and time for self-care, and time for family, and time for being. And then there's always seems to be enough time then.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have to take care of the vehicle that we drive through this journey, and the mind that thinks for us, and the spirit that experiences life. So we have to nurture ourselves on all levels, which is part of that concept of avoiding toxic situations, people, thoughts, and yet being aware that they're there. And we can't just ignore it. We can be aware and say, I'm not going to go down that path, or I'm aware of this and I'm going to do what I can to make a difference, to help others that are on that path, if and when they're open, to be there for them.
And for people that are surrounded by toxic people, and they don't know how to disengage from that because it's all around them. Start connecting with people that you get to support as well as appreciate their gifts, vice versa. And as you step into that, and the toxic people, it starts to lose its power. The toxicity loses its power, and because you're just no longer in that, and yet you almost have a nod of that you feel sorry for them, because you know that they're not getting to feel this place of hope and love and connection, and it just they lose their power. Mm-hmm. And that'll come. Find your tribe.
Yes, finding your tribe and supporting each other. Being there for other people, too, is really important, because when you, as what you do, you're a fabulous listener. When you listen to another and you're there for another, it makes you feel good, too, doesn't it?
Oh, my goodness. What a great feeling. Absolutely. That outward focus. And you want more, because it just, you get to allow someone else to shine.
Mm-hmm. You actually
you
use the word, when you've got a power network, that's where magic happens, right?
Absolutely. And that's the whole. So my word for 2021 is connection.
Mm-hmm.
And this gets to be, now, even 2020, we know the chaos that's been 2020, mm-hmm. and even 2021, the January was filled with this chaotic energy of pipes bursting in one person's house, a parent dying suddenly, or just different ways of holding back what's coming in 2021 for just a little longer, and we needed to just push more. But it's coming. This is going to be a banner year.
Absolutely. In the spring comes new life, new growth, new hope, positive light, and new life. And that's what we have to just know. We're just going through the last phase of this, the darkness, and we have to keep our hope and our faith strong. And we're coming to a close of our journey today. Thank you so much, Maureen, for being here. And we can find Maureen at powerofthetribe.com, correct?
The Power of the Tribe.
The Power of the Tribe. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, listeners, for being with me on this journey. I will see you next week. And meanwhile, look up, stay positive, and be the light in someone's day. God bless.